Writing a motivation letter can be quite challenging to students who would like to apply to different study programs, yet it is one of the deciding factors that determine whether you are accepted into a study program or not. In this video, I'm going to make it easy for you. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to give you 5 tips to help you write a captivating motivation letter that will have you selected among multitudes of students for different study programs. I'm also going to show you 5 things to include in your motivation letter, and then 5 things to never include in your motivation letter. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hilda Gloria. Welcome if you're new here. Please make sure you don't miss my next videos by hitting the red subscribe button down below so that you are notified every time I post a new video. Now, a motivation letter is a letter, just like the word motivation, motivate, a letter that shows why you would like to pursue a certain study program in a certain university in a certain country. So, just like the word motivation, my first tip is, what is your motivation? Make sure you include your why. Why are you choosing this study program? Why are you choosing it over all the other study programs that are available at this particular university and in this particular country? That way the people that way the examiners get to see your interest, how interested you are in, this particular program. It also makes you a standout candidate because it shows that you have done your research and you are ready and you're very interested in this particular program. That is why you're able to explain your why. So make sure that your motivation letter explains why. For example, if you would like to be an environmentalist and you would like to study environmental science, why are you choosing that? For example, you could say the fish in the lakes in my country are polluted and I would like to save them, I'd like to help them, I'd like to acquire skills at your university to do this. So yes, make sure that the motivation letter answers the why before you hand it in. Tip number 2 is make sure that it is in line with your desired study program. For example, if you would like to study medicine, do not talk about polluted fish in the lakes in your country, because that is not in any way related to medicine. You could talk about, the desire to learn about different types of treatment for a certain kind of disease. For example, for malaria, the way that people treat malaria in your country, I'll give Uganda because I'm from Uganda, is this way and this way. I would like to learn more because I've read that in your university, in your country, people treat malaria in a certain way, ABC. So that way they know that yes, you are a prepared candidate, you are ready to confront this new, pursuit in your life. You are ready to, take on medicine as a program and you are interested. And it just shows in your motivation letter. You're not, vaguely talking about lots of other things in the name of studying medicine while you're applying for medicine. Number 2 is be very specific. If you do not know how to be very specific, you could Google, for example, medical school. If I want to pursue medicine, what are the major opportunities in that field? For example, if they major in surgery or if they major in oncology or anything to do with medicine, look at those things and be very specific to what you want to study. Do not say I would like to study economics. Economics is a whole faculty that has got management, it has got accounting and finance, it has got economics, it has got lots of other things, planning and control, CRMs, and lots of other things. So make sure that once you choose a study program, you get down to reading the catalog. They're usually available on the university websites. Read the catalog, what's included, what are the subjects. Now, what subject would I want to major in? If I majored in this subject, is it making me arrive to a certain goal, A, B, C, D, and D, which I mentioned in, point number 2 that I wanted to do. So make sure you are very, very specific. An example would be like, for example, accounting. If you're looking to pursue a degree in accounting, you could say, I would like to pursue accounting so that I can compare the international financial reporting systems to the Italian ones, so that I'm able to compare that with my country and see which ones are better and see which ones to use or to employ in my new job, something like that. Make sure that you are very, very specific. Do not play around a certain broad topic. Make sure that you are very specific to the very dot. You know what course you want to do, you know what subjects are in there, you know what you would like to major in, and also you are relating that to your major goal. What would you like to be in life? If you would like to be a veterinary doctor, why are you studying human medicine, for example? Tip number 4 is be original. Now let me tell you, on average, every university receives thousands of applications, thousands of motivation letters. Since all of them are typed on a computer, guess what they do? They just plug it in any plagiarism system. Plagiarism is a system that shows that, you know, your work is copied, or your work has been presented before, or your work has been published or seen somewhere before. So if you go to Google and you copy and paste or share from what a friend has given you, it is going to show. It is going to show, and that is usually one of the initial cutoffs. Once they, you know, scan it through for plagiarism and they see that you have copied, or a certain percentage, let's say 50% of your work has been published or shared before, especially for that particular program, usually that's where your application ends. They don't even look or take it any further, so it gets you cut off at the initial stages. So make sure that you do not copy and paste. Be as original as can be. Number 5, which is very important and people usually ignore, is read it out loud. If your motivation letter makes sense to you, it is going to make sense to other people. If it does not make sense to you, definitely it's not making sense to anybody else. So if you can, find a friend, find a family member that you can read it to, and ask them for their opinion, for their, you know, positive criticism, to let you know what they think your motivation letter is for. For example, you can read it and then ask them, what do you think it's for? For what program do you think it is? Before telling them, you know, what your motivation letter is for, and then they'll tell you. If you think you've been writing, for example, to a culinary school or catering school, and then somebody tells you, I think you are applying to a fashion school, those are two completely different things. So that means you have to check your application again. It is okay to check it over and over before you actually hand it in. Moving on to what to include. What should you include in your motivation letter to make it stand out from thousands and millions, or, you know, hundreds of millions of other applicants at universities, especially in Europe? Number 1 is indicating your why. Like I mentioned, if you are not able to state or answer the question why, just like the word motivation, what has motivated you, it is not going anywhere. Your motivation letter will just be shoved away in a cupboard, or it will be thrown in the trash. Make sure that you answer why you are interested in a certain program and at a particular university. That goes to say that you have to do some research about the university, about the courses, about the people that have studied in that university. Number 2, make sure that you include what you intend to use the knowledge learned in the study program. If you're going to learn how to, for example, write financial statements in accounting, what are you going to use that information for? For what information? For what purpose will you use that information? Or is it information that is going to go to waste? If you mention that I would like to learn how to write, let's say, a balance sheet, why are you going to learn a balance sheet? Why do you need to learn, you know, how to use a balance sheet? Are you planning to, you know, work in an accounting firm? Are you planning to use the knowledge in your own personal accounts or personal finance? Why are you, you know, why are you learning this? For what reason are you, you know, learning? Are you taking on this study program? Number 3 that you should include and should not miss is the impact of the knowledge that you're going to learn from the study program on society. Now, it is important that you learn and you get the degree, but other than the degree that you get for yourself, of what impact, of what use are you going to be to your society? It could be back home or society in general, or the world. What is your contribution? What are you willing to contribute to the world? For example, if you apply to study medicine and you say, for example, you would like to learn different ways of treating malaria, how is that going to help? Are you going to use that information back home when you go there? If so, please indicate it. If you're going to use it to educate other doctors, please indicate that. If you're going to use that information to provide lower cost, you know, treatment methods for malaria in your country, please indicate that. So that is a very important factor that you should indicate, of what impact you're going to be to society. And please make sure that it's positive. Do not write things that are going to negatively impact society. Do not talk about things that are going to destroy peace, things that are going to hurt people, things that are going to make people lame, things that are going to hurt the environment, things that are going to cause harm to, nature. So make sure that your why is positively impacting society and the environment. Number 4, what you should include, and this usually is ignored by most of you, is if you know somebody that has gone to a university and has had a success story and has impacted society positively, please mention that person. Mention how you are inspired to join this school and to pursue the same course by this person. Mention their work. How is it impacting society? How is that admirable to you? How would you like to be that person? Or how would you like to be an addition to, society, just like that person, like, being 2 instead of 1, that makes it even easier to work and to solve problems. How are you going to solve problems in your society because somebody inspired you by how they're solving problems and they went to this university and you want to go and learn the same knowledge, or be taught by the same professors, or learn in the same learning environment. This is very important. Universities do not want to give you the knowledge just to benefit you and probably to give you a transcript and off you go without having any benefits. Universities would like to know what you're giving in return. So this is mainly for doctoral students or PhD students. While writing your motivation letter and application letter, make sure that you include what you're going to learn and how it is going to be beneficial to the university. For example, if you're doing education and you're going to be a teacher or a professor one day, how are you going to use the knowledge given to you to improve, for example, teaching methods in the university, or tutoring methods in the university, or the rate at which data is handled in the university? We all know that sometimes universities lack staff, or they lack, resources to work on certain documents on time. So how are you helping them? Make sure that you research very well and find out all the problems or the shortcomings of a certain university or a certain program, and see how you're going to contribute towards improving that, and how, and make sure that you include that in your application or your motivation letter. Now on to the things that you should not include in your motivation letter. Number 1, which is very important and might cause bias, is talking about your personal opinions on very sensitive topics like politics, sexual orientations, different governing methods of different countries, and all of that. If you are writing, no matter what topic, no matter what program you're studying, you are aspiring to study for or to apply for, do not mention where you stand. I'll give your opinion where you stand on these sensitive topics, because you don't know who is handling your application, you do not know who is handling your motivation letter. They might be from, the side that you don't like, or the side that you say you don't support, and that is where your application is going to end. So do not mention, don't give very personal opinions, just give what is required, and what is required is basically just your name and your study program of interest. That's it. Number 2 of the things you shouldn't include is talking about your financial constraints or struggles in the motivation letter. This is not the right time. You are not applying for a scholarship right now. You are applying for a study program. These are completely 2 different things. I'll be sharing how to write a captivating scholarship motivation letter. If you would like that, comment down below and I'll prepare a video on that. Before I forget, I'd like to tell you that I have a free masterclass which is happening this Saturday on the 13th of January 2024 to teach you how to write a wonderful application for a university in Europe, and then to teach you how to write a standout motivating letter. I'm going to give, of course, more tips than this, because that is going to be more intimate, more personal. There's going to be more interaction between me and aspiring students, and I'm going to teach them, how to choose the right study program, how to choose the right city to study in, for example, reasons why your application might be denied. We are also going to go into the very sensitive topic of visa application, giving you the guidelines, helping you not make mistakes that result into visa denial. Just like I did, my visa was initially denied, but that's a story for another day that I share on my channel, how I got my visa from denied to approved. Back to the things you should not include in your motivation letter. Number three, do not complain about your home country in your motivation letter. Do not complain about your home country, because a study program is awarded on merit and not out of sympathy. So you should earn it, basically. Your motivation letter is not there for you to diss your country, and do not think that by dissing your country you are going to get into the study program. That is going to low-key look like you are looking for an escape plan instead of looking for the values and the benefits that this education program is going to give you. For example, if you complain about the bad roads in your country, or I would like to study in a university where the roads are really good, so what? Does that impact on how they teach in your country? Does that impact on how what you're going to learn is going to be useful in your country? That is a sign that you just want to escape your country. You do not have the actual innocent interest to come and actually acquire skills, acquire knowledge at this university. Number 4, which also creates bias, is do not go into the depth of describing yourself. Nobody wants to know that, hi, my name is Hilda Gloria, I am a black Ugandan woman. There's no point saying all of that. You are just wasting your words, because I know motivation letters have got a limited amount of characters that you should use. So you are wasting your word count. That is the right word. So make sure you are writing what is necessary, and do not include a description of yourself. That might cause bias, because the examiner or the person handling your application might be somebody who had a bad experience in Uganda and they don't want to ever see another Ugandan, so cut off. That means your application ends there. Number 5 is do not make unrealistic promises. This goes especially for doctoral students, because they usually ask you what you would do in the end. What are you going to do as a contribution, your contribution to the university in the end? Please do not say that I'm going to build a submarine that will go to planet Mars, because we all know submarines do not go to space. It's obvious. So make realistic promises. For example, you could say, I'm going to improve the teaching methods in the university for students of maths or statistics. I'm going to give them a tutoring session every so and so and so and so. I'm going to use this particular approach instead of using that particular approach. I'm going to test out this and that to improve, or to make sure that there's an improvement. Make sure you make realistic promises, because once you talk about constructing a submarine that goes to Mars, they're going to start to question whether you have the resources. First of all, by saying submarine going to Mars, that is not okay, because it never happens. Submarines just go underwater, they do not go in space. Number 2, do you have the resources, or are you going to depend on the university for the resources? Does the university want to provide this? That might lead to a cut as well. So be very realistic. I hope that these points and these tips have been very helpful. Share the video with a friend that it might benefit, or with friends that might benefit. Leave a comment down below if you have any video requests, or if you enjoyed this video, or if you'd like to add on to the list. As always, I'll see you in the masterclass on the 13th. My name is Hilda Gloria. Please subscribe. Bye.